welcome once more to my old written world, where once again I'm going to pull a character name straight out of the Stein and talk about that character right off the cuff. Last time I did Poadar, had some microphone problems I think, but I think I got the sound stuff ironed out. But anyhow, there's like 11 characters more in here, all of them from that book. And so, without further ado, let's see who I'm talking about today. This one sticks to me. Mauklo. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, Mauklo is a rather nefarious character. He's human. Sileen. Sileen is basically the Maldene equivalent of all the various Oriental races, just sort of smashed together. Which means, you know, he comes from one of the Orient in Maldene is a couple continents, North Lamika and South Lamika. And they're probably the highest population density per mile anywhere. And there's also Ne Lamika and Am Lamika. Give you an idea, keep in mind this is a pretty big world. North Lamika is probably about the size of about North America, but if you look at it on the Maldene world map that you can download, it doesn't look all that big because it's sitting next to some truly huge continents. And just a factoid, each of these are separate continents, but in the really old language, Am Lamika, Am actually is a prefix meaning peninsula, and yet it's not a peninsula, so just sit on that for a while. Mauklo, as I said, is Sileen. And when I say nefarious, an answer to a question, and I believe this actually occurs in the book somewhere, when someone asks, you know, whose side are you on, his answer is typically, well, yes, of course, obviously, which is no answer at all, but that's Mauklo for you. At the end of the first section of the first book, there's a prophecy that one of the other characters foretells that says whichever side, you know, in the forthcoming war that you know is coming, whichever side Mauklo is on, that's, you know, picks to be on, that's the one that's going to win. And so Mauklo takes this and runs with it. Excuse me. Basically, he's of the mindset of, okay, I'm taking offers. He never reveals his hand. He's allegedly, technically, on one side because he was raised by the cult of Set, but yet he's working with a group of characters that are sort of dead set against Set. So when it comes down to it in the end, the high priest of Set, if he was smart, shouldn't be sure whose side Mauklo is on. So yes, whose side is he on? Yes. He also gets some of the best lines around. There's a Destier kid. The Destier are from the desert. They're the desert people, and that's a whole another issue there. But he's one of the many that doesn't trust Mauklo and doesn't mind saying so. And in the first book, the kid, his name's Kilgar. He starts out like around 8. And yes, throughout the series, you do see all the characters develop, grow. Some of them mature, learn more, etc. It's like life. So when Kilgar is still a kid and he's basically having words with Mauklo, Mauklo's line is, my boy, someday you will make a wonderful spell component. And roughly about 9 books later, he does. I keep really thorough notes. Yeah, someplace around the Chaos Wars come up in book 10. Mauklo needs a focus for a spell, and Kilgar happens to be handy, so he literally does become a spell component. What else about Mauklo? Oh, yes. My big bad guy, Myro, is always known for never being perturbed, always calm. You know, you can't get him to growl or anger or whatever, with one notable exception. Mauklo is the one guy that can get under Myro's skin from time to time. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And keep in mind, Myro, well, as far as the characters are we'll be finding out. Myro has been known, or has been around, suspected to be around, for 50,000 rels. Now, rel's a Maldene year, that's 3.6 Earth years. So do the math. Myro's been around for a really long time. Turns out it's even longer than that, but that's another plot point. And in all that time, the one person coming up that can get under his skin from time to time is Mauklo. Now, later on in the series, they do get kind of cordial about it. You know, like as one would say the other, just because we're enemies is no reason not to be rude. And so I have a scene sort of suggested by a friend of mine, Mike. He's my beta reader, by the way. They're in the middle of a battlefield, you know, in some other world. And it's during the Chaos Wars. And Mauklo knows that Myro's behind it and everything else, and he's nice and calm. And while the battle's going on in the valley below, he sets out a table, some, you know, a tea service, a plate of cookies and whatever, and waits. And then Myro shows up, and they begin, you know, having a nice conversation over tea and cookies. And of course, with all the implied threats, you know, like Mauklo going, you know, well, of course I know that it's a trap you have, you know, set up here for everybody. And Myro going, but if you haven't figured out the details yet, or where I'm going with it. And they're all nice and polite to each other. And all the while people are dying, things are exploding, everything else. Mauklo's even offering cookies that his wife made. I won't say who that is because that comes up later too. Yes, characters get married from time to time. And so it goes back and forth like that. As much as the main characters, Sabu, Eldar, Sindar, Kandal, and everybody else don't trust Mauklo, they also find from time to time that his duplicitous, calculating nature does come in handy. A lot. In that he'll pull the same shtick on just about everybody. There's a perfect instance, but I'm trying not to give any plot spoilers here. But there's a couple times when Mauklo is acting like he's on the other side, and the way you're reading, it seems like he really is. And all the while, you know, the main characters notice that the one thing he's not doing is giving them away. You know, he's playing for distraction. And the only thing that keeps them from shooting Mauklo is because they know him so well. They know it's like, okay, never trust anything on the surface that this guy's doing. But more than that I can't say because there's so many plot spoilers and there's a lot of plot going on. Anyway, that's Mauklo. His whole shtick is, whose side is he on? Yes. I would sooner trust a used car salesman. So before I wrap that up, a couple things in the background here you may notice. For instance, this little guy. Now, on my website, you'll see the Maldene map. It's all a lot better looking now, but this was the original hand-drawn map. It's like 2 sheets, double-sided, my own color coding and stuff. This original map of Maldene before I scanned it and everything else. And this one, sorry about that. This is sort of an insert that comes up in book 11. If you look at the Maldene map, you see the Sea of a Thousand Islands. This is what it used to look like before it was the Sea of a Thousand Islands. So how did all this landmass everywhere get the pogies blown out of it? This area here, it's currently the Sea of a Thousand Islands, and Tetonosho, the Great Whirlpool, is right about there. That is the subject of book 11. So he has a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, next time I'll pull another name out of the Stein, and we'll see what we're talking about then. Until then, see you later, and check out Maldene.